Okay, I really, really, really want to talk about the EA sale and the future of The Sims. Oh, God. This has been a video that I've been putting off for a while. And again, first and foremost, to those watching live, I don't care about much other than The Sims when it comes to EA. If you play The Sims, because I do know that there is a huge majority of my audience that do, give me a little hey. Because I want to see who directly this video is going to resonate with, because I don't know if anyone... There we go. Look at that. I know my people. My people. The Sims is really one of the only games that I actually play. It has been a game that has held significant nostalgia for me. From playing it as a kid on my cousin's laptop, Sims 2, to my friend Alexandra, who passed away. I really associate The Sims 3 and even some expansion packs in particular, seasons and adventures. I really associate that with Alexandra. I've really fond memories of The Sims, and it is a game that I still play to this day. I majorly played The Sims 2 and The Sims 3 because Sims 4 isn't my favorite game in the entire world. I've made that very clear, and I don't feel the need to have to overly explain why The Sims 4 is my favorite game, because we have done videos like this before. I think I've literally done a video like the Rise and Fall of EA or the Rise and Fall of The Sims or something. All my thoughts are over there, right? I just don't think The Sims 4 is as strong a game as the rest. The Sims 4 is a very unfortunate ending to the franchise as of it right now. Because again, the game is incredibly weak. It's incredibly old hardware at this stage, and it breaks all the time, and it's just outdated. It's incredibly outdated. And for a game that would constantly be updated, like The Sims 2, The Sims 3, all the expansion packs, there would be a time frame for a Sims game in the franchise to kind of have its course. And The Sims 4 is long past that. Long past it, to the point that the game doesn't work anymore. Fundamentally, I can't even really play The Sims 4 if I want to, because I have all the expansion packs. Unfortunately, my money has gone to greedy EA, and it crashes. It doesn't work. Sometimes if I place an item in my house, okay, my entire game is now gone. Great. Love it. Love it. And so I don't want anyone coming around just being like, you're a hater. Because first and foremost, I want The Sims to be good. When they announced that there really wasn't going to be a Sims 5 anymore, and they were just going to continue building on The Sims 4, and the EA team said this, I knew that it was over, because the game is breaking by the day. They're having to spend more time asking players, why don't you play our game anymore? And they're releasing expansion pack after stuff pack after game pack after, suppressing so little onto a fucking file and selling it for a lot of money, in a game pack or a stuff pack, breaking up the context of the contents of what would be an expansion pack into all these different ones, money hungry down, right? And this is under what it's like right now. And everyone was wondering what the future of The Sims was going to be. Well, EA is now being acquired by a consortium, including Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund, the PIF, Silver Lake, and Affinity Partners led by Jared Kushner for around $55 billion. So what that means is that basically Saudi Arabia is going to be the ones in control of The Sims. The investment funds over there, right? That's who it's being sold to. Yes, Donald Trump's son-in-law at that. So, our fun Sims game, our incredibly inclusive Sims game, by the way, is now being sold to Saudi Arabia. For $55 billion, which is an incredible amount of money, obviously, right? A sickening amount of money, actually. EA is the one being acquired, being sold. And obviously, the reason that these investors are wanting to buy EA, and they have, basically, is because they want games like FIFA. They want those sport games. They want those kind of games. And The Sims is just along for the journey. You know what I mean? They're not doing the sale to buy The Sims. If anything, they probably actually don't want The Sims because of how inclusive it is. If I had to ponder the thought, which means that The Sims is automatically going to be neglected, number one. And think of how bad the game is right now. Now, this is not the first time that EA would have killed a franchise. SimCity, hello. Hello. Now, let's talk about it a little bit more. This will take the EA private. Sorry. So it will like delist from stock exchanges. And basically it's also devaluing this company as well, in my opinion. The acquisition is using debt financing. Part of the deal is backed by loans, $20 billion from JP Morgan. PIF is going to be the majority stakeholder if we had to assume, and Affinity Partners gets a minority stake if we had to like guess, based on the reports so far. Now, this is clearly Saudi Arabia, another example of kind of like taking control of the media or like buying big enterprises or like, you know, buying, sponsoring or being in control of it. And that is what's happening here with EA and these games. So I just want to say that this is like not necessarily like all just about money. It is kind of like taking over and ownership and it being about what they want. He's worth $1.5 trillion. So here's what's important to note about The Sims. Because I'm going to be honest. The other games that EA have, I don't play them. I feel bad for the fan base of those games because I do think that EA have games where the fan bases are some of the strongest ever. And what's really unfortunate, it makes me so angry, is I have been an active member of the Sims community most, if not all, of my formative years. Engaging, reacting to, buying, spending money, investing, playing, and all of that has the potential, probably most likely, to really just end now. Because The Sims, the community of The Sims is so strong, even when the game is failing. Because it is a great community. It's an inclusive game. You can really do what you want. It harbors the environment for a safe space, if you will. But being sold to Saudi Arabia, like Saudi money, it basically means that there's the potential for this entire game, if they don't just neglect it, and it die, because without maintenance, Sims 4 will not last much longer. So that's a scenario. Or the other scenario is rolling back, maybe, the inclusivity of the game. You know, Saudi Arabia has strict laws and cultural policies when it comes to sexual freedom, criticism of religion, if you're gay. And it's important to note that The Sims has always been quite progressive over other games, even if they have to do updates years later, about inclusivity. And that as well has been why the community has been so fucking strong. And when the game is fundamentally being handed over to Saudi Arabia, we can only assume that will be rolled back. We can only assume that will be removed. We can only assume that coding will be changed. And that is, like, why are people not talking about that enough? And what's crazy to me as well is, like, Sims YouTubers really aren't talking about this a lot. And I can only assume that, I did see Lil Simsy's video on it. I can only assume that there's an element of fear there in terms of, like, what does this mean for, like, also their jobs? These Sims YouTubers have devoted years to this game. Devotion, passion, and priority when they could have been playing other games, and built up a fan base of playing this game. And what do you mean this game could actually just not work in a couple months because now it's been sold to Saudi Arabia? But also, I just want to say as well that it being sold to Saudi Arabia for that amount of money, that amount of money needs to be made back by Saudi Arabia very quickly. So how does that happen? This is the games. All of the games under EA will now surely be more expensive, more money needing to be paid to play them because Saudi Arabia need to make their money back very quickly, and all the other investors. What does that look like for The Sims? That looks like even more expansion packs, even more stuff packs, even more game packs, to the point where other ones will not work, they're not compatible, just like an expansion pack that would have been, like $50 is now put in 10 stuff packs, whatever like that. A lot of money, and you guys are going to eat it up because you're dumb, because you're stupid, and you don't care about your money. Not you guys, but the Sims people that are probably going to come into my video defending this. Because if you're defending this right now, you fundamentally are stupid. Like, you're dumb, and you are naive. Also, something that could happen with these games, when investors need to make a lot of money, they change the game to, what's it called? Transactions, microtransactions in the game. And we could be looking at a Sims where you have to pay to unlock every item because money has to be made back quick. And the fact that the Sims legacy is literally being handed over for the sake of money, I mean, typical, but it's such a fuck you to the community who have rid by that game through its worst moments. And it hasn't been good. It hasn't been good at times. The modding community, you can say goodbye to them. I'm sure there's going to be a shutdown, we don't know, on third-party stuff. So, I saw this point. Someone said online, if EA says that their values are remaining the same, they're not taking into consideration that when people more powerful and investing more money have a say, EA's voice really isn't that important anymore. We don't want two men to be able to kiss in the game anymore, and we're paying more money for this, so get rid of it. We don't want the ability for adoption to even be in the game anymore. Get rid of it. We pay more money than you. We don't want there to be an option for pronouns. Get rid of it. You know what I mean? This is fundamentally what we could be looking at with The Sims. And by the way, guys, this isn't just The Sims 4. If they're buying The Sims franchise, which is even worse. Like, people on Reddit were saying that, like, same-sex storylines could be removed from promo. I mean, that's probably what is going to happen. The Sims branding being very inclusive, that's probably going. That's nice. Considering the community that have literally funded it is a majority in said communities that need representation. We can probably honestly just say goodbye to like any like LGBTQ plus things, if I'm being honest. I can also see them completely removing the pronoun thing. I can really see them removing that. I really do. And it's just so upsetting because a game like The Sims is a game like Minecraft to me, where like the community was built up by queer people, and specifically like queer and like diverse like storytelling. Through role playing, through the modding side of it, through the promotion. Like, now, another thing to note is there's another element of this, right? So if they need to make a lot of money really quickly, not only do they squeeze these games, but also they have to let people go. This is just actually what happens. This isn't just me saying about like private investors or public investors or Saudi Arabia or anything. When you've got to make a lot of money, you got to stop spending a lot of money. And we could literally be seeing huge layoffs. And keep in mind, the Sims games barely work with the employees they have right now. So the game may literally just stop working. It may literally just stop working. But also, EA allowing what could be layoffs is so disgusting for something so for greed. For fucking greed. How dare you? This is a great point. Remember, to remove features, they have to pay for coding to remove them. Likely, they will just get AI slop created to continue the game. This is what I was going to get onto next. Guys, I'm sure we're going to start seeing most of the content with The Sims, with this deal going forward, being AI. I really do. I really do. I just don't see a world in which we don't see expansion packs and stuff like that created as cheap as possible with AI slop. I really don't. And like, I'm gonna put a prediction now. We could anticipate to see like artwork, AI, expansion pack cover arts, whole trailers. Because The Sims, it's animation. It's, getting. I'm sure we could see all that as well. And also, if AI is inserted into the game, yeah, you're right. It'll probably kill it faster. Um. So again, because The Sims is not what they're buying EA for, this all might not just happen, and they might just ignore it, and the coding runs out. And that will actually be sooner than you think, because the game is very old. The game is very old. I don't think people realize how old this game is in actuality of not being updated. If this game is not constantly updated and worked on, this game will not open. It won't open. We're already seeing people not be able to open their game. And then I'm like, I particularly have spent thousands on The Sims 4. I've spent so much money on The Sims 4. I have everything. I didn't pirate Can you believe that I didn't pirate a single thing? I didn't know pirating existed. But like, still, saves are having problems already, and the sale is literally just now. You know what I mean? Again, there's 55 billion needing to be made here quickly. So everything will be monetizing. We could also see a Sims 5 coming. We could see a Sims 5 coming and ignoring The Sims 4. And The Sims 5 could be a terribly quickly made game to maximize profit. And then they will charge you updates to fix the game. This is not out of the realm of possibilities right now. This is really not out of the realm of possibilities. EA already have a bad reputation for dropping games, for giving up on them, for literally once it gets to a certain stage, they give up. We have so many examples when it comes to EA. So, everything I had in my notes here is literally just kind of things I've already said as well. In closing, just to kind of talk about like the Saudi Arabia aspect of it a little bit more. Saudi Arabia has literally been buying up so much fucking entertainment. It is unfathomable. Like, it is really unfathomable. It's like, I don't know what the model is other than just like ownership and like control, but like Saudi Arabia are buying a lot and like actively being seen as like controlling a lot. It's almost like they're trying to like rebrand as like a different place, or like more modern, or like more, not what you expect of them anymore when you think of Saudi Arabia, I guess. Like not inclusive. Like they're buying entertainment, they're buying movies, they're buying whatever. But they have such strict censorship, and they have overwhelming restrictions on things we deem just day to day. The Sims is probably the biggest life simulator game in the world, right? And it is also the most inclusive life simulator game of all time. And I would argue one of the most inclusive games of all time. That is why it has the community it does. But now, this is going to be a money pawn for Saudi Arabia. So what do you think happens? What do you think happens? Now, keep in mind, the reason that Saudi Arabia are buying EA is not for The Sims. It's for FIFA, Battlefield, Star Wars, is it Madden or Maiden? Apex Legends, like it's those games. It's those games. That's what they want. So they're not going to give a fuck about The Sims? I don't know. It makes me so sad. It makes me so sad. I just honestly think that this is it. I think that this is it. I know my dream would be that like Maxis could just like take control and like, dude, when Maxis were in control, they were money hungry too, but just so much different and so much better. Like it would be my dream for Maxis to like re-control this franchise. They were money hungry bitches, but like they weren't in the pockets of like Saudi Arabia. You know? It makes me sad. It really makes me sad. Maxis were money hungry, but they cared about the game. Yeah. My predictions for The Sims now is that, like, I think the game is going to release a lot of packs soon. I don't necessarily think they're going to do microtransactions. I think it's going to be expansion packs and stuff like that. I think they're going to get more expensive, or I think they're going to get cheaper and more of them. You know what I mean? It's going to be one of the two. And I think because, yes, it is a cash cow, they're going to want to continue making money off of it because they have to make a lot of money back. But I just don't think they're going to invest money in what needs done on the game, and I think the game is just going to break. I really do. My game literally barely works. Maxis is practically entirely dissolved at this point. Yeah, so we'll leave it there. I mean, it makes me so sad as a Sims player. And again, it's I think it is the only game I play other than like a little bit of Minecraft. And I'm like, damn, we kind of fucking shit. Anyways, this sucks. And I just don't think enough people are talking about, like, I know a lot of people are talking about it, but I just don't think people are talking about, like, this is really it. Like, and there's no, like, coming back from it. Like, I think this deal has gone forward now. If it has or hasn't, it's in the process of it. When/if it already has happened, it is the end of the game. There's no like, oh, we can save it. Like it will, like we are now in like the final stage of the game. And that makes me so sad. That makes me so sad. Well, we'll leave it there.